Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. When we look at our horoscopes and when we are looking at strengths and trying to find strengths, one of the things that we also do is we look for yogas or the Raj yogas, the so-called powerful bounty providing yogas given to us by the Srishti, by creation, by the zodiac, by the supreme energy, by the supreme lord. And we are a little wary of those doshas which are the tough doshas and placed in very strategic placements in the horoscopes, because of which they may add challenges to us. And so in a horoscope there is always a tug of war between the yogas, the doshas, exalted planets, the retrograde planets, the combusted planets, the debilitated planets. Then Rahu and Ketu, if they are eclipsing any planet, aspecting any planet, any bad conjunctions, and so on. So there is this tug of war between which is stronger, which is more neutral, which is more weak, and which is more malefic in our horoscopes. So when we look at horoscopes, we sometimes get too excited about yogas and we get a little bit crestfallen when we find doshas. So how do we see in the battle between yogas and doshas in the horoscope which has an upper hand? And so to know which has the upper hand, which is getting more strength, which has more opportunity to either do good or pull you down, one needs to be able to look at the horoscope holistically. That is, overall what the placements are, whether the yogas are strong, whether the doshas have any impact on them, and which has more say in the overall perspective of the horoscope, overall result giving ability to the individual, and which will come to the fore more when the person needs them most, or will there be more challenges to the individual because of the doshas. Now firstly, a small clarification about yogas. All yogas are not fantastic placements or conjunctions or a synergy of energies, because that's what a yoga is. Yoga is not always a conjunction. Moon and Jupiter always placed together need not necessarily be the cause of a Gajakesari yoga. Moon and Jupiter in Kendra to each other or in aspect to each other from the opposing houses or the opposite houses also forms a yoga. That's why I am not calling this a conjunction but a synergy of energies between planets which ultimately give rise to a yoga. So a yoga is deemed to be strong definitely to give good results, prosperous results, auspicious results. However, there is always a flip side to the yoga also, and it's important for us to look at what is the flip side of the yoga. One flip side of the yoga could be the yoga is placed in the sign of an enemy, or one of the planets could be debilitated in the yoga. It could also mean that the yoga is formed in the Dusthanas and in an inimical sign. It could also mean that the yoga is formed but there is a conjunction of another planet which is spoiling or taking away the effects of the yoga, or there are aspects of malefics on the yoga. So there are many balancing factors to reducing the strength of the yoga also. Then the yoga may not be a strong yoga because either the planetary conjunction is not tight, that means the degree difference is not lesser than 6 or 7 degrees. If the degree difference between a planet or a planetary pair which is forming a yoga in a conjunction is more than 10, the difference is more than 10 degrees, then the yoga is a very weak yoga. Even in aspects, if Jupiter is in the Lagna, Moon is in the 7th house, Jupiter and Moon differentiation or degree difference is huge. Say Jupiter is at 5 or 6 degrees in the Lagna, Moon is at 17 or 18 degrees in the 7th house. So in spite of aspecting each other and forming a Gajakesari yoga, the yoga is a very weak one. So be very wary of not being just excited because of yoga is being present, but also deep down analysis of how strong the yoga is by itself. and then you will know whether the yoga is good enough to give you auspicious, good results, prosperous results or not. Otherwise, what could happen during the dasha of one of the planets or the dasha or antardasha of the pair, you will expect great results to come by you, but it may not happen. So it's very, very important that you look deep down into the strength of the yoga itself to give you good results and auspicious results. The other thing is the yoga, when the conjunction is happening, it is happening in a specific house, and so both planets being placed in that house, in any house and any sign, planets will have some added strengths, will also have added weaknesses. So here, because they are coming together, it's more synergy of energies. So the planet to an extent will also lose its individual capacity to give results. So one has to keep that in mind as well. Now when you look at the yogas holistically and then you move to the doshas, same thing you should apply to a dosha as well. Whether the dosha is so strong as to be able to impact the horoscope negatively to a large extent, able to take away most of the energy of the horoscope, and is tending to give more challenging results, more frustration filled results, more anxiety filled results, more bringing you down results. So a yoga, just like you look at a yoga, the dosha should also be looked at from those same standards. So first, if there is the dosha, for example a dosha like a wish dosha between a moon and a Saturn, if they are together, is the conjunction tight, less degrees differentiation between the two. Second, in which house the wish dosha is there, is it in a friendly sign, in an unfriendly sign, there are more malefics attached to the dosha, because that adds to the dosha. So both of these needs to be looked at. So only when you look at the individual strength of the yoga and the dosha in your horoscope, you will be able to overall make an analysis of which is stronger, which is weaker. The other thing is that the dosha may be impacting the yoga, or the yoga may be impacting the dosha, or vice versa. How does the yoga impact the dosha? For example, Jupiter has a fifth aspect, and if Jupiter's fifth aspect is falling on, say, a Shrapit dosha between Rahu and Saturn. So here Jupiter is influencing the Shrapit dosha because of its aspect on the Shrapit dosha, but on the other hand Rahu is aspecting Jupiter back. So if Jupiter and Moon are in a conjunction in a Gajkesari yoga, and Jupiter's fifth aspect is on Shrapit dosha of Rahu and Saturn, so Rahu is also influencing Jupiter back. So here Jupiter is reducing the malefic tendencies of the Shrapit dosha, but Rahu is also taking away the strength of the Gajkesari yoga. On the other hand, if it's say a Papkatri dosha, where Jupiter's fifth aspect is on Moon and Moon has two malefics on either side, strong Papkatri dosha, then Jupiter is reducing the strength of the Papkatri because Jupiter is aspecting the Moon. So one has to look into these finer aspects of whether the yoga has an upper hand or the dosha has an upper hand, or is some placement or aspect reducing either the strength of the dosha or the yoga, or adding strength to the dosha or the yoga. Now as I said, some yogas could be bringing good results, but there also could be a flip side to the yoga. For example, a Gajkesari yoga between Moon and Jupiter. Here, because it's a Gajkesari yoga and Jupiter has added strength, Moon has added strength, then here the person tries to become, or the zodiac expects you to showcase more ethical behavior, more moral behavior, because now Jupiter is influencing the thinking capacity of Moon, the mind also. And because of that, many times in today's world, the tact that you need to showcase, the diplomacy that you need to showcase, and a little bit of manipulation that you need to showcase, or balancing act that you need to do at work, in your career, at work, many times the Gajkesari yoga takes it away from us, because it expects you to be honest, it expects you to be ethical, and tact, a lot of tact, or more diplomacy, or more manipulation, or more balancing is not the right way for the zodiac. Truth and honesty, while being softly honest, softly truthful, is what the zodiac expects. So many times a strong yoga, but where the zodiac is expecting you to showcase ethical standards, may take away the worldly side, the material side of the yoga, and hence a lot of people, when they consult me, ask me, I have this strong Gajkesari yoga, I have this strong Lakshmi yoga, I have this strong Dhurdura yoga or the Sunafa yoga. Why are they not giving me auspicious results? One could be because you're not acting in the manner that the zodiac expects you when that yoga is given to you, and how the yoga will give you good results. So that's one. The second is, if the yoga is in a specific house and the relationship of yours connected to that house is in some challenge. For example, a Gajkesari yoga, strong Gajkesari yoga between Moon and Jupiter in the 4th house. What is the 4th house representative of? The mother. Moon also represents mother. But if you don't have great relationships with the mother, or if you're estranged with the mother, or you don't regularly reach out to the mother, you don't serve her, mother is always trying to do something for you, reach out to you, take care of you, or wanting to meet her grandchildren, which is your children, somehow you or somewhere you are holding yourself back, you don't give her time, you don't serve her, you don't seek her blessing, then you are taking away the energy of the Gajkesari yoga, for example. If you have a strong, for example, a Chandramangal yoga in the 9th house, so here sometimes, because Mars is overshadowing the moon here, sometimes you may tend to also be a little more aggressive in your intent, aggressive in your emotions also. And so your capacity to show high temperament may be high, but your capacity to understand, empathize, support, and be this mushy character, be the soft supporting character is reduced to a large extent because of the strong Chandramangal yoga, the yoga between Mars and Moon, which is also good yoga, but there is always a flip side to the yoga also. So keep in mind that this may also be there. Same thing with the dosha. If it's a Shrapit dosha, Rahu and Saturn, Saturn expects you to be slowing down, to be structure oriented, to be disciplined, to be committed, to be very patient, to persevere and take your time, bid your time to get good results. Rahu on the other hand, pushing forward. So this is a yin and yang, or how much to push forward and how much to pull back results. So the person ends up being frustrated, being confused, most of his decisions may also go wrong. So it is like a curse on you, and that's why it's also called a Shrapit dosha. You don't know what to do and how to figure out solutions when you get into challenges. So any dosha which is given to you, especially such doshas, especially in the kendras, if the Shrapit dosha happens, for example, in the lagna or in the 4th house, this can be a very, very devastating dosha for you. Or if there is a Vish dosha between Moon and Saturn, and that is happening in the lagna or the 10th house, for example, or the 5th house of children, then that could be a devastating thing also for you. So one has to look deep down into what the dosha is and what the yoga is. Now when you look at overall factors of yogas versus doshas, say for example, you have a dosha which is there in the lagna itself versus a yoga which is there in the 7th house. 7th house yoga is more about relationship, it's about partnership, it's about balance, but the lagna dosha is about almost entire life and your thinking capacity. So this dosha becomes very, very powerful in the lagna, because the lagna is the most important house of the horoscope, whereas the 7th house is also very important, being the Kendra house, but it is not more important than the lagna itself. So which house the yoga is versus which house the dosha is will also tell you whether the yoga has an upper hand in your horoscope or the dosha has. Now let's see, both the trine houses have a yoga and a dosha each. Then you need to look at the strength of the conjunction or the strength of the yoga itself versus strength of the dosha. What will the 5th house yoga do? 5th house yoga will also bring you good changes in your career, related to your career, related to your children, related to your interests, related to your financial strength. The 9th house dosha will, however, because it is the house of fate and luck, every now and then there will be obstacles to how much you shine in your good luck, which the 5th house is throwing up at you. So if the 5th house is yoga is giving you good chances of a good change in career, because it is the 8th house to the 10th house, but the 9th house dosha will spoil how much you can benefit from that change of job, which means you may make the change of job, you may get an opportunity, or either last moment you will change your mind, you will not take the opportunity, or you change the job and yet you're not able to settle in. So if you have faced this challenge in life where there has been an opportunity in your life, but somehow for some reason you didn't take it, then look at the strength and the weaknesses of the 5th and the 9th house accordingly. Or if you have had a job, you have made a recent change and suddenly you face challenges in your job, or you're not able to settle down, you're not able to get along with your boss, then you look at whether there is a dosha or a weakness connected to the 9th house and the 10th house, because it is connected to your career. So people expect the Lakshmi Yoga to give you good financial results, and good results versus wealth, versus the amount of money you can earn, and also your livelihood, your earnings, your savings. However, what it does is, many times, because we look at the yoga as a Lakshmi Yoga connected to wealth, our focus then directly goes to the money part, and we expect the yoga to give us money. Little do we look at into the more detailed part of the yoga, understanding the yoga better, that the yoga gives you an opportunity to get wealth from certain areas of life, not generally money showered on you or thrown at you. It is that the Lakshmi Yoga gives you an opportunity in a specific area, and says, if you serve this area, if you work in this area, if you do hard work in this area, you are patient in this area, you focus your energies in this area, then you can get more wealth out of this particular area in life. Lakshmi Yoga is not all round money given anytime and every time to you, come what may. That's not how the Lakshmi Yoga is seen. Similarly, any yoga which is connected to money will give you a certain area of your life where you need to persevere more, work hard, and use those strength to get more money. A Raj Yoga, on the other hand, unlike a Dhan Yoga will give you money. A Raj Yoga gives you more power and influence, and in a certain area of life. A strong Raj Yoga in the 7th house means that you have more power and influence in your partnerships, in your ability to deal with other people, and in the general walks of life. However, it also means that there is more influence, more related to that house. Unless the Raj Yoga is given in a certain area, you cannot think that the power and influence has been given to all areas of life. And so you need to be more careful about how you're looking at the yoga to serve you. If there is a Raj Yoga, strong Raj Yoga, power and influence yoga in the 10th house, for example, the sun is placed there, and the moon is also placed there, and it's not a tight conjunction that the moon gets combusted, but the degree differentiation is 7 to 8 degrees. So yeah, it's an ability to shine creatively at your work. So it's a strong Raj Yoga given to you also. However, one also needs to look at that you don't push too hard because the sun is there. Don't become arrogant. Don't become somebody who makes mistakes because of false prestige and wanting to be the leader, wanting to be listened to and heard all the time. So one has to be careful and also look at the flip side of the Raj Yoga, the flip side of the Dhan Yoga also. On the other hand, a dosha may also, while creating challenges for you, may give you some areas of escape for you also. For example, if you have a Papkatri dosha is where you have malefics placed on either side of a benefic, especially the moon. So if there is a Papkatri, for example, in the 4th house, where you have malefics on either side of the moon, so here the malefic is going into, one of the malefics is going into the Upacha house, while moon is pretty strong in the 4th house. So here the strength of the dosha is reduced because moon is very strong, while it's a Papkatri dosha for you because of malefics placed on either side. But one malefic placed in the Upacha house in the 3rd house, in fact, adds strength to the 3rd house results. Moon is strong also in the 4th house, and a malefic in the 5th house is not that bad, because the 5th house is also a house where you are being given more flexibility to be able to do your wish, to do your bidding, rather than in the Kendra house where you have less flexibility. So also look at the other small aspects of the dosha, which is more like a escaping factor to you also. So overall, understand your horoscope well, understand the doshas very well, understand the yogas very well, understand if there is aspect of a yoga planet on a dosha reducing the strength of the dosha. On the flip side, the dosha is very, very strong and forming some relationship with the yoga and reducing the strength of the yoga, and so the dosha is manifesting itself very, very strongly. And for example, if the Lagna Lord or any of the Kendra Lords being in the dosha, then the dosha becomes obviously more powerful. If the yoga is in the Dusthana's 6th, 8th or the 10th house, while the dosha is in the Kendra houses, especially in the Lagna, in the 4th house and the 10th house, then obviously that is more stronger. So friends, deep down in your horoscope, look into your horoscope and see what doshas and yogas you have and which has an upper hand, which is giving you more opportunity, which is giving you the escape hatch. At the same time, my suggestion is also, in any of my videos, when I'm giving you at the end screen videos recommendation, or in the list or in the pop-up video which comes on top every few minutes in the video, most of the time I link it to the current topic or as a follow-up on the last topic or a topic which I'm going to do in the coming in the coming days. So it's more of a either added flavor to you to the video that I'm doing currently, or to a video which is going to come up as more as a preparation and the link to you. So please do look at the videos which come as a pop-up on top of the screen and at the end screen, and generally in my description box also, if there is a video which is related to the current video I'm doing, then I'll add a link to that also. And lastly, please do go into my playlist. For example, today I'm doing this particular video on yogas versus doshas, whereas I have a playlist which talks about yogas and doshas in detail. I've described many yogas, I've described many doshas as well. Please go check out that particular playlist and look at those videos, because then you will be able to understand the individual Raj Yogas, Dhan Yogas better. You'll also be able to understand the doshas better, so that when you are doing a yogas versus doshas in your horoscope, you will be able to overall understand what the yoga is manifesting, what the dosha is manifesting, and how overall both of them together, the synergistic energies are working out for you. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation for me, please reach out to me, the links given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.